Hey everyone, welcome back to another market closing live stream. Today we've got crypto giving us some entertainment today. Not only did we have a pretty substantial 6 minute period of institutional selling followed by liquidations pushing down the price of cryptocurrency substantially to the point where Bitcoin went down to 43,500. But we've also seen a recovery followed by subsequent additional selling. And so while we've covered some of the crypto madness and how we've been trying to buy the dip, although many platforms have been having issues, it's interesting to see that the pain is kind of lingering a little bit longer than you would expect it to. That's not to say that we would expect cryptocurrencies to only be straight up and to the right. By no means. It's the same thing as with stocks. The market goes in cycles. It goes up and down. And when we're pretty bullish, at least on this channel, for the future of cryptocurrencies going into especially 2022. Looking forward to that substantially. But yeah, look, this continued selling pressure right now, kind of interesting right now, something to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here and see what exactly we've got going on, and see if see if there are any lessons for us to take a peek at. All right, so we'll hop right on over here to Webull. We've got Bitcoin sitting here at 46.9 right now, and take a look at this channel movement here. We broke out of this channel very briefly under a strong 1 minute buy candle again here at about 11:37. We had our large dip this morning at about 8:06 is when it started. 8:06 was the start California time. And it's interesting to note that we had this other subsequent dip here back down to about 46,000, followed by these singular spikes. In my opinion, these singular spikes here are usually the sign of larger institutions essentially now buying the dip that, in my opinion, they likely created. That's sort of the gamesmanship of the markets. But what's also fascinating is with Bitcoin, we really are staying within this channel right here. We've got a solid channel of this 47,165 and 46,794. We've really been dancing within this channel. We've had a couple breakouts, but we keep getting rubber banded back into this channel. So we know that we've got trading algorithms playing cryptocurrencies around both of these sides here. The same sorts of pattern are true here at Ethereum as well. You just don't have the lines. It's the same thing as relatively true here at Cardano. And you can see that these are all old lines, by the way. Keep this in mind. And we talk about doing stuff like this in the Stocks and Psychology Money Group. But these lines are pretty old that we've had drawn here. And we just continue to retest these with the lower bound here being part of our channel on ADA here at about 238. 238 being that lower bound, riding slightly above that right now, though we are downtrending again on ADA here. We did sort of re-dip, worth noting. We re-dipped all the way to 225. So if you missed the earlier buying opportunity where we went down to 207, it's worth noting that we had another dip. And if you're not catching these dips, make sure to set yourself alerts. That's what I recommend. Use Webull, use TradingView, whatever. Set yourself some alerts so that way you're notified when you get a drop. You can really just right click here and create an alert. I usually use TradingView to do this, but you could do moving down, and you could just do something like moving down 5%, let's say, once a day. Perfect. Now you've set yourself an alert on Webull. It's pretty easy to do, and it's worth doing that. So that way, if you do get some kind of volatile movement percentage-wise, you do see this sort of pull down, which I think is wonderful. So, and that way you're alerted to buying the dip, right? So, well, I disagree that somebody here is saying alerts are useless, limit orders only. See, that in my opinion doesn't work too well because it's very easy to forget about your limit orders. I think limit orders are wonderful, especially if you clearly track them. But sometimes people set limit orders for so many things that before they know it, all of a sudden, if we have a fall in the market or something like that, like we had in, let's say, February or March, you might be thinking, oh, I'm buying the dip. But the broader movement was for a more prolonged downturn. And now maybe you've set so many limit orders that you're going into margin because you kind of forgot about them. So, yeah, if you're going to set limits, that's fine. I'm all for setting limits. Like, for example, today, if we wanted to, we could go ahead in here and set a single limit and just let it expire at the end of the day. The problem with limit orders is sometimes people set these good to cancels, and you want to be careful about those. So, yeah, we're not going to do another alert. But yeah, I mean, look, If you were to create another order here and we were to throw in, well, here, let's do this. Hold on a sec. We could just use this over here. This is a little bit easier. Wait, where's our trading block? I just messed everything up. There we go. Here's our trade. So if we wanted to just throw in a trade window, we throw in a limit and we just let it be in force for the day. And we say, hey, you know what? If we get another dip to, let's say, 228, I'm going to buy, oh, I don't know, 13,337, I don't know, something like that, dollars. There we go. 1337. Yeah, I love it. We want to put in a limit like this. We can do this. This is easy, right? The trick here is, so now I set this limit, place this. The trick here, though, is it's only going to be in force today. You can see this other transaction that I got filled on earlier today, 50,000 right here at 333, I guess was the average fill price. It's the first time I'd actually bought Cardano on Webull, but you can see it here. So you can see I would be lowering my cost basis if we triggered into this again. It's not a bad idea. Just be careful that you don't have too many of these good to cancel, which I don't even know if you could do good to cancel on limit orders for crypto. But I like these to expire at the day. Worth noting that difference there. So yeah, okay, very fair. So then we've got, let's see here, Clover and Hippo sitting around 20%, which is pretty incredible. Upstart, though, also just this is like the trading winner here of one that just keeps going and going and going. But look at this, out of nowhere, Wynn Resorts just popped up another 5.7%. This is one that frequently drops down to around $90. And so it's nice to see a good pop back up to the 106 range here. SoFi slowing down a little bit going to the close. Got about 18 minutes left to the closing bell. Tesla trying to maintain onto that 3% there. Getting, let's see here. Let's pop on over to the chart. There we go. Nice. We ran up to 760 there for a moment. We're not there anymore right now, but we are breaking out nicely. This is a very nice pattern, by the way, that we're seeing here. 200-day moving average, 50-day moving average, the exponential 20. These are phenomenal patterns. We're seeing upward trends in all three of them. And, who knows if we're now breaking out above that 715 range. We sit above this for a while. Are we going to get another larger breakout? It'd be awesome. I don't think. I mean, we got a nice sharper incline over here. This is worth noting that here. Let's see here. So if I just draw a little bit of an upper bound here, but then we also draw some of this recent movement here. You could really draw a nice wedge here, depending on how you want to draw it, of course. I mean, everybody's TA is always going to be a little bit different, but I like this sudden acceleration that we have with higher lows, and we're starting to get higher highs again relative to these prior levels here. So I hope this trend continues. We'll see. We've got Roblox, 2.61 to the upside. EXPI back to $50. Nice job. Got Bitcoin. Yeah, still sitting there at that 46.9 level, right under 47,000. Well within that channel. Cardano 240. Let's see here. Clever. DocuSign down 5.64% today. It's almost like you have a little bit of a punishment to stay at home today and some benefits to recovery stocks because Wynn Resorts is just doing so well. Let's see if we have other recoveries up here. Yeah. See, look at this. Spirit Airlines, Carnival Cruise Lines. Some of these very recovery centric. Disney, Macy's, Nordstrom was somewhere around here. American Airlines, United Airlines. Looks like most of the recovery ones moving. And you finally got a little bit of love again for Redfin, up just 0.2%, so nothing dramatic, but still up. Cheers to the coffee. All right. So let's see. Do we have earnings today? Let's see if we have any earnings today. It'll be fun. All right. Let's see. Earnings. So today we have, it is Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. Hope you all had a good Labor Day weekend. We've got Yeah, UiPath is reporting today. That's right. So we'll take a look at Path. It's probably the largest that we'll look at here. Okay. So UiPath year to date is down about 9%, has a $31.9 billion market cap. It's incredible. Large company here. And there we go. Okay. Perfect. So we'll take a look at that on the Bloomberg. I will pull up the Bloomberg because we don't have that at the moment. It does look like we've got NASDAQ that'll close at a record. I did notice that 10 years were moving a little bit. Let's go ahead and pull up a new tab here. Just go to CNBC. So here we have the Dow's down about 265, down 0.75%. The S&P is actually down 0.25%. The Russell for like small caps and recoveries is actually down 0.56, despite the fact that a lot of recoveries are up. And let's look at the bond yields. Look at the 10-year here, folks. Nobody's really talking. This 0.371. Crazy. So all of a sudden we had a little spike there in the 10-year treasury. Worth noting this spike. So that's really interesting. So 10-year treasury went up. Okay. Usually that's a sign of inflation fears. But at the same time, crypto went down, which you would usually expect crypto to go up on inflationary fears. So, a little bit of mixed signals in terms of why treasuries are going up here. I'm going to go and pull up terminal and maybe we can get a little bit of insight, unless we can get it here. U.S. reaches 75% of adults with at least one vaccine dose. That's good. UK's at, I want to say UK's at 80 or is it 88%? I think 88% is fully vaccinated. Anyway, so Ford hires Apple car chief in coup for recovering car maker. Wow. Wait a sec. What's this? Ford is hiring the head of Apple Inc.'s car project away from the iPhone maker. That sucks because he could take all of that intel. Now, I'm sure there's stuff he can't disclose, but still, you could go, no, I don't think we should do that. I think we should do this. There's plenty of stuff that you could share without sharing. You know what I mean? So that's fascinating that Ford was able to recruit someone away from Apple. That blows my mind. Like, what did they offer the guy? I'm shocked. Like, I just feel like the culture at Apple would be like so anti leaving Apple to go to Ford unless they paid this guy like some fortune. That is crazy. Okay, Doug Field, between two stints at Apple, most recently as vice president, special projects group, played a major role at Tesla launching Model 3. Ford shares reversed a decline on the news. Yeah, no kidding. The hire is a coup for Ford, which made major strides under Jim Farley. Okay. Most respected engineer. Losing Field is a blow to Apple, whose car project has gone through several strategy and leadership shakeups. The other thing is maybe Field doesn't believe in Apple's project. Maybe this is a sign that the Apple car is way behind, and it's not a project he feels he can contribute to. That's a danger. That's actually potentially a warning sign for Apple and the Apple car, because if you think about it, if you're really gung ho about a project, you're not going to leave. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be the money. So I'm surprised by that. All right. There we go. So I also am just doing a quick little pinned notification that you can get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. See how easy it is? metkevin.com/life. All right. Yeah. So that's a blow to Apple for sure. All right, let's get into the terminal. Let's see what's going on in the news quickly here. Let's see what we got. All right, what do we got over
When
here?
it comes to Bitcoin and cryptos. At the same time, though, I got to ask you, the president of El Salvador was on Twitter because they had some kind of a hiccup, if you will. The apps weren't working in El Salvador. And he goes onto Twitter. He starts yelling at Apple and Google and Huawei. He's like, guys, come on, get it together. I don't know if you saw that on social media, but I wanted to get your reaction.
Oh, yeah. Well, as somebody who is in tech, anytime you roll out new tech, there's always going to be issues. It's just the beginning. I'm sure they'll fix them, and I'm sure that his, outburst on Twitter was simply just his passion for what he's been working so hard for the past few months. I would tell anybody to keep away from thinking that it doesn't work or that El Salvador has all of these problems. It's the first day, people. I mean, if you remember the first day that they put out the healthcare service with Obama, the website crashed, but it's doing fine now. So with tech,
yeah, I mean, look, this is kind of a boring conversation. I'm not trying to say that because it's Fox or whatever, but Fox, by the way, has actually been good to us in the campaign. But yeah, okay, like we know tech's gonna have issues when you roll it out. I don't think that's a big deal here. Like, I don't think hiccups in El Salvador are creating any issue. I don't think hiccups in El Salvador are the reason we're seeing a sell-off in crypto. We're seeing a sell-off in crypto because institutions are trading it. That's what they do. They trade it. And also, I do think that there is a real potential, whether you believe it or not, I believe, like whether you personally believe it or not, I believe, and I think together we can believe that institutions are looking at next week's CPI reading as a moment, as a tell point, or sort of an inflection point for inflation and subsequently crypto prices. Remember the TikTok I made, and we talked about this on YouTube as well. The TikTok here, there were 2 dates I pulled up, and it's really important to have this sort of conversation before next week because it's a catalyst. So if you go to my TikTok at Real Meat Kevin, there's this video I posted on Instagram too. It got a lot more views on Instagram and YouTube actually. But anyway, I won't play the audio for it, so I'll get demonetized again. But this one right here, predicting the peak of Bitcoin, it is eerily aligned with the CPI dates. And again, I'm not going to play the audio here, but this was in the course member live stream on January 6th, the morning of the riots or whatever. I suggest, and you can see this on my TikTok, that I got April 13th. This is when I want to sell Bitcoin. In case I don't sell there, I'll make it for May 12th, right? There's the peak, 64,000, April 13th. And the next peak right there, May 12th. And I said that in January. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. So I'm not trying to be like a soothsayer here. I'm just saying that whether you like it or not or believe it or not, those CPI dates, those are inflection points for cryptocurrencies. So it's worth noting that you could be seeing a what's it called? Like I don't know, like a preemptive decline in cryptocurrencies because of the inflation reads coming next week. Just my thought. Okay, so we've got 6 minutes to go until the market close. We've got, yeah, it does look like Hippo is falling a little bit here into the close. This is not uncommon if you have traders taking profits on this one, which I think is early to take profits on it. I mean, if you have call options, I don't blame taking profits. But this right here, last 2 hours of the day, this is trader moving right here. This is actually really just the last hour and a bit. This is trader momentum right here. Worth noting. Very worth noting. This is one of the reasons I was looking at covered calls, and we talked about covered calls on Hippo this morning in the course member live stream. So then you've got, let's see here, Cardano. Yeah, some of the pricing on the covered calls is actually really good. So you could basically sell for like $8. Yeah, but anyway. So what else? Let's see here. Cardano is sitting at $2.38 right now. You've got Dogecoin at 24, just under 25 cents. Faraday Futures, the SPAC down right here with Support.com, Proterra, Matterport, 23andMe, Marathon Digital, Hive, lots of the crypto companies, SPAC companies, or higher valuation companies rotating down. It's a big move to the downside here on Matterport. It's one that we really expected because Matterport does do these ups and downs. So it's why I completely sold out of Matterport when we had our last run. And now I'm looking for a rebuy-in opportunity. So I don't mind this at all, especially since you do get that up and down. Pretty common. Certainly, I don't want anybody to lose money who's in it, but I believe long-term this company will be back and grander than ever. Enphase still sitting at 3%, really looking for a little bit more of a discount before jumping in here with some more shares. But I would, honestly, Enphase is one of those companies I would throw down a lot of money on if it dipped nicely again. And I might over time kind of trickle in. So I kind of hope it stays on this downtrend. Okay. Etsy, though, I kind of hope moves up. Quiet here for Etsy. Although it's nicely over that 200 range. Lemonade kind of deflating a little bit here. Lemonade was up as much as 2% earlier in the day. So, okay, let's go ahead and see what other... Oh, yeah, we were going to look at news coverage. Let me go ahead and pull that up for a second. All right. Okay. So... What was I going to look at? Ah, yeah, somebody mentioned skills. Skills. Yeah, skills moving decently. 3-ish%, kind of trying to recover a bit. A lot of bag holders on skills, sadly. So worth mentioning here, end of September for big crypto crash. A lot of folks have been saying this in the comments. I think that CPI could be your catalyst. So I can't say no to that. I do think that crypto is going to be pretty desired going into 2022, or once we when I really want to load up big on crypto is when inflation fears are gone. Like, imagine we go back to 2% inflation and there are just no inflation fears at all. Whatever crypto is at that point, that's what I want to buy, like heavily. You know, I've been buying dips and playing around a little bit. You know, we've got ADA right now is up from where we bought it. Not by much. I mean, ADA right now is sitting at 237 right now. I'm just watching it here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this month in crypto. We've had a good run in crypto. Maybe it's time for those growth and Cathie Wood style stocks to come back. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's see what we got in terms of news. We've got about 1 minute to go before the closing bell, so let me just grab the top news quickly. We got 1 minute to go before the closing bell. So looking at the top news here, there's U.S. stocks drop amid concern that recovery has peaked. Ooh, U.S. stocks slip from near records while traders returning from the long weekend to worries. Okay, with traders. Oh, returning from a long weekend to worries that the economic recovery is faltering. Oh, okay. Let's see here. S&P and Dow declined while big tech gained. Euro market slipped as investors speculated the Eurozone policymakers are getting ready to pull back stimulus. Greenback was higher. Broader. Okay, let's go ahead and get the closing bell, and then we'll take a look at more of this. Here we go.
So a very, very slight gain. Anything positive with the Nasdaq is a record close, but it's only just in the green with 20 seconds left. Within the S&P, 3 sectors are positive: communication services, consumer discretionary, and technology. The other 8 sectors are lower, led lower, as Mike alluded to, by industrial down 1.8%. As the bell goes, we do have...
Can't hear them. Dow Jones down 0.76, S&P down 0.33, Nasdaq up 0.07, barely a new record high there. Russell down 0.72. A lot of pain in the market actually today. But yeah, let's go ahead and listen into them for a moment. Go back to the sticks to see how it closed.
With Wilfred Frost and Mike Santoli, CNBC senior markets commentator. As stocks settle here with the closing bell just a moment ago, we have a mixed picture. The Dow finishing lower by 267 points, or about 0.75%. The S&P also finishing the day in the red, down by about 0.3%, 45.20 is the level there. But the NASDAQ Composite, the outperformer of the day, eking out, albeit just barely, another record closing high, up basically just above the flat line, up 10 points right now. The Russell 2000 small caps and the Dow Transports also finishing today in the red. Netflix, though, hitting an all-time high. This coming up.
Netflix all-time high. All those Gavin Newsom bailouts working out. All right, so what do we got here in the after hours? Not much movement yet in the after hours. Probably a little too soon to really tell. You've got Hippo sitting at $6, which, hey, that's still pretty good. That's still up 16% on the day. That's pretty awesome. You've got let's see, Skills, Arrival, Chipotle, Spirit. Okay, not much we can really identify as a big moving catalyst here at the moment, but we can look at crypto again. Just watching crypto dance around here at Ethereum around that 34, 32 level. Bitcoin really having trouble with that $47,000 level. And Cardano dancing at about 240, 238 to 240. Interesting day. Let's see how AMC did as well. AMC. Yeah. Okay. AMC, how do we end the day? Let's see. AMC ended right here. We ended up 8.86% on AMC. That's pretty good. That's a good day for AMC. Very good. Okay, good. So let's see what here we got. UiPath. That's right. I was going to do UiPath earnings. While I do that, somebody here donated $5 to say check out packaged food companies like Campbell. Yeah, one thing to keep in mind is a lot of these companies are going down, like Clorox or Campbell, as really it's almost as if people stocked up on so many soup cans during the pandemic. Remember that big frenzy we had to get food at the beginning of the pandemic and how everything was selling out because we thought we were going to be locked down forever. Anyway, gosh, crazy times. But yeah, you've set some really rough year-over-year comps to compare to. I mean, you pulled forward so much demand at some of these companies. It kind of makes sense why some of them are falling. Though, will they return to their all-time highs? Yeah, probably eventually. All right, so we've got UiPath up and ready for earnings. For what it's worth, let's just do a quick breakdown on what it is for those of you who don't know. So I'll read you this here. It says, UiPath provides software solutions. The company designs and develops robotic process automation software. Okay, so software that makes robots work. Okay, to build, manage, run, engage, measure, and govern automations across departments within an organization. UiPath serves customers worldwide. See, I guess it kind of makes sense, like user interface and then a path for it. Like, here, robot, follow this path. No, I don't know. That's probably a bad reference. But anyway, they do report momentarily here. So it'll be interesting to see. Personally, I'm not too optimistic about tech after earnings. So they're going to report at 4:10, it says. Usually when you get tech earnings, they just fall. Like good or bad, they just fall. Earnings have been so punishing in 2021. It's been rough. So UiPath is losing money, expected to lose money at least through 2024. Well, we'll have about 3 cents of earnings projected. Going out to 2025, we're seeing about 20 cents. That's still selling for like 300 times 2025 levels. It's pretty high. Expensive market cap as well. So we'll see what happens. Got UiPath up. And then, of course, this pain in crypto in the meantime, while we wait for UiPath to show up, this pain in crypto is really something to pay attention to. If I subscribe to the Dipper, if I subscribe to buy the Dipper, I don't know why I read that as Diaper. Buy the Dipper. Do I get stock by notifications? Buy the Dipper. What's Buy the Dipper? I don't know what Buy the Dipper is. If you're talking about the stocks and psychology of Money Group, that works. Oh, you're talking about YouTube Buy the Dipper. No, that just lets you chat here. That's all that does. Oh, all right. In reverse, Kevin, Campbell's soup and peanut butter prices first sign of huge inflation. Forget pandemic play. This new thought: food prices insane. Peeps buy peanut butter and Campbell's. Wow, that's interesting. It's an argument. Where are you seeing those prices? Like just in the store going up? Are you seeing research on this? That would be I would be curious to look into that and then try to understand what's creating that. So somebody here mentions we've got $42 triple touch. Yeah, we really do, huh? Yeah, I think. Are you looking at the hour or the day chart? Let's see here. $42. Yeah, Robinhood's a little tough one to chart soon. Have we seen wage increases? Of course, we've been watching wage increases. Yeah, we were just looking at the labor report last week. You should see it. We got a whole video on it. Anyway, we've got UiPath coming out any minute now. In the meantime, let's just take a look at CoinMarketCap, get a little bit more insight into some of the damage of today. This is, by the way, as the title says, the worst crypto crash we have seen in 2021, which obviously doesn't hold a candle to crashes we've seen before where crypto goes down 70 to 90%. You know, anybody who held through that is like a real diamond hand pro, right? So, I mean, this is like a walk in the park. Whew. But anyway, yeah, I'm very, very happy with dips like this because they just create buying opportunities. Like, look, am I happy that we bought Cardano at $1.06 and it tripled to $3? Of course, it's wonderful. But yeah, hold on. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Sorry, I just saw something come up and I thought it was something we could talk about, but not really. Anyway, yeah, I mean, look, dips though are great opportunities to get in at a lower cost basis. So I'm excited by that. Solano had a dip, but did the best to recover immediately thereafter. Kind of neat to see how Solano has responded compared to some of the others. Although I'm not such an expert in Solano. Okay, did we get earnings yet from Path? Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, no earnings yet. We're still waiting 2 minutes for earnings on Path. So looked into Pedimont Lithium. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, sadly. I usually stay away from the mineral miners. Kevin, do you think September, October is going to be red like most years or 2021? I think we're going to have a rally in 2021. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, historically, you're right. But it's all, to me, it comes down to those CPI numbers. You know, CPI could end up being a big oopsie doopsies. So we'll see. We'll know soon enough. Yeah. Speaking of knowing soon enough, waiting for that UiPath earnings to come out. BBIG short squeeze. Short squeezes, folks. I've mentioned this so many times. It's just not the time anymore for short squeezes. I think people are more interested in investing in stocks that have higher short interest. Don't get me wrong. And I think maybe they can have more of a potential trader run on that hopium. But short squeezes were very, very popular just like 2 or 3 months ago. While Workhorse was kicking butt, remember, right after the tail of AMC. But now, just looking at short interest, the market's moved. It's just totally moved. I don't know anything about SPT. You know, if you wanted thoughts on something, at least say like, hey, I'm looking at this company. This is my thesis on it. Like the Campbell soup person. That was really interesting. You know, they're like, hey, peanut butter prices are going up. The prices of whatever soups are going up. Like, that's interesting. That's insightful. We can comment about that and have a discussion about that. But if you just type thoughts on and a ticker symbol, it's not what I know about. What do you want me to say? Anyway, Campbell soup prices. Be kind of cool. So Campbell soup, I wonder if there's like an index or something, like Campbell soup inflation, right? 6 days ago, Campbell. Oh, see, I mean, you get a little bit of. Oh wait, UiPath should be out. Hold on. Is it? UiPath. Okay. Options imply a 14.5% move. Okay, it is out. It just came out. There's no summary yet. Reports second quarter financial results. I hate it when they don't do a summary. It just makes it very difficult. So we'll wait for the summary to come. But let's see how the market's responding to it. So UiPath is actually up in after hours, 3% right now. See this? Oh, wait, now it's down. It's just bobbing around. UiPath position. Okay, that's RBC. Yeah, still don't have the details of what's actually going on inside of this report. I'll try to pull it up really quick and then just sort of look myself because they have not gone through and done a summary on this. So we continued our very strong momentum into the second quarter of 2022, fiscal year of 2022. Okay, they got a weird calendar. Annual, I'm assuming ARR is annual recurring revenue, growing 60% year over year. I'm assuming. We'll have to verify that. Our team executed well this quarter. We've got net new ARR of 73.9 million. Revenue was 195.5 million, increased 40%. GAAP gross margin was 82%. Man, that's the thing about software is the margins can be so good, but they end up spending it on advertising or whatever. Let's see. Announced new integrations with Smartsheet, expanded technology, blah, 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 blah. All right. Okay, here we go. So looks like they reported a loss of 19 cents, revenue at 195.5. They actually beat on EPS. They came in with an EPS of 1 cent versus a loss of 5 cents projected. Their revenue estimate was 184. So you got a beat on EPS. You went profitable rather than a loss. That's big. You beat the estimate. That's big. And its projections are slightly higher. That is a triple beat on UiPath. It's not a huge, but it is big. It looks like Bumble just announced a secondary offering as well. So you're going to have Bumble under some pressure here. So despite a triple beat, I kind of expected this. In fact, I said it. We said it right before the close. We were like, I don't know, tech earnings, even if they beat, they tend to fall. So you got this triple beat, and it's teetering right now between -4% and -2.7%, 3%, somewhere around there. So you do have a fall here on UiPath in the after hours after this report. Bumble just reported a secondary offering. So if you have stocks here, expect to see some red. Not much, though. 2.8%. That's not so bad. It must not have been so large. Yeah, but anyway, I did want to see a little bit here. Campbell Soup warns inflation will eat into profits. Let's read this because somebody else brought this up. Campbell Soup warned that higher costs will eat into profits. The New Jersey-based food and snack company has said higher ingredient, transportation, and labor costs will result in annual core inflation to be in the high single digits, and those headwinds will be more severe in the second half. Oh, wow. That the inflation headwinds for Campbell Soup, which this is making me very hungry right now. Now I have to ask if we have any food in this house. Okay, maybe that. This is interesting that they're actually saying the second half is going to be worse than the first half. That's intense. Let's understand this. We expect continued uncertainty around the duration and effects of the pandemic on industry-wide supply chain networks, resulting in accelerating inflationary pressures and constrained labor market. Yikes. They said this on their earnings call. This would be an interesting earnings call to read. I might pull that up right now, actually. As a result, the company forecast adjusted earnings of this range here below the estimate. Predicted sales would be flat to down 2% in fiscal year 22, worse than the 1% decline they had expected. Aha. See, this should actually help crypto anytime you get this kind of inflationary talk, right? I'm going to pull up the earnings presentation. There we go. 9/1 earnings call and transcript. Okay. Inflation and other factors had a negative impact of 6.4% during the fiscal fourth quarter. Wow. Slightly more than half of the decline was the result of inflation increasing, was the result of cost inflation increasing by by 5%. Supply chain productivity program partially offset the inflationary headwinds, adding 150 basis points to gross margin. Campbell Soup reported fourth quarter sales. That's fascinating. Campbell Soup shares are down 14% this year. Okay. Very interesting. Cup of noodles over in okay. I don't know anything about uranium. Uranium tracking, uranium miners, exporters, developers is up 3x this year. Supply deficit with massive demand looming. Dude, I know nothing about it. You know, and then this is what I teach in the Stocks and Psychology of Money group as well. But look, let me just give you an example here. Somebody's like, Kevin, you should invest in figs. And so we looked up figs. We did some research in figs. But here's the problem. Who's going to know first when the fig fad dies? Figs, by the way, is dress wear for men and women who work in nursing or the doctor field, medical field. It's like scrub clothing, right? Scrubs. Who's going to know first? Me or somebody actually in the industry, right? So I don't believe I have enough contacts, even though I have great close friends that are in nursing or whatever. I don't believe I'm connected enough to see that shift when the figs fad goes away. If it ever goes away, who knows? I'm sure it will at some point. But yeah. Let's see. All right. Anyway, so that's something that I consider when I'm investing in stocks. I just think it's worth mentioning. You'll keep me updated on the trends. Yeah. Was that you, Nick? Oh, thanks for that. But no, I mean, to me, it's just important. It's like, you know, I if I have to rely on other people and they're not like here with me, how am I going to get my reminders? One second. Okay, so let's go over here. I think this will be very interesting to take a quick peek at. Campbell Soup call Q2 2021. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at this for a moment together. So this is the earnings call. And apparently we had inflationary pressures here. And I want to find exactly those discussions. So here we go. Okay, net sales grew. Well, I don't know what their fiscal year is. And that's what's so annoying is their fiscal year, I feel like, is a disaster. Okay, I guess my Apple Pencil is not going to work. Fine then. We'll use my finger. So let's see here. Well, let me see what they say date-wise for this. Okay, so this is considered Q4 2021, even though technically this is Q2 earnings season. They call it Q4. It's so annoying. It's just like, how am I supposed to wrap my head? Like I have to map out their calendar. It's so stupid, but whatever. I don't really care about their calendar. I just want to hear what they say about inflation. Amid rising inflation, labor shortages, some executional pressures, we better focused our agenda in the snacks division. Okay, we're very pleased with the speed of progress, whatever. On slide 17, we do expect a challenging environment in fiscal 2020. So fiscal 2020 is going to be the next 12 months, starting July. So it's July to July. Oh, so weird. That's like property taxes. Property taxes, fiscal 2020 would be July 1st to June 30th of the next year. And so then they call it the 2021 to 2022 tax year. It's like, why don't you use the same freaking calendar? Why do you got to make it hard? It's so stupid. Anyway, sorry, I got to stop ranting about that. However, we also anticipate our effective pricing actions, supply chain productivity programs, and cost savings initiatives to be significant offset. So they're basically, I mean, whatever. That's just them trying to sell you on the stock. As COVID persists and inflation and labor availability remain highly volatile, they mentioned inflation 14 times in this. Inflation and other factors had a negative impact of 640 basis points. We talked about that. Our supply chain productivity program is helping offset. Okay, let's keep going. I'm sorry. They mentioned inflation more than 14 times. They mentioned it on 14 different pages. Like every page basically had inflation mentioned. That's crazy. The lower gross margin resulted from higher other supply chain costs, net of lower COVID costs. Oopsies. Let's go back. There we go. Higher cost inflation. So supply chain costs and cost inflation would be like, hey, the chicken for our soup is more expensive, right? Higher freight costs as well, and ingredient and packaging inflation, and unfavorable product mix. Well, I don't know about this unfavorable product mix part. I have to understand what they mean with that. But basically, they're saying all costs are going up. Freight, labor, ingredients, everything's going up. The lower gross margin resulted from higher cost inflation. Okay. Let's see what other insights I get here. Oh, here we go. We expect, see, this is what I like. This is the kind of juice that I love. All right, here we go. Turning to slide 30, as covered in our press release, we're providing guidance of this. Whatever. We expect, this is the part that matters. We expect continued uncertainty around the duration of effects of the pandemic on the industry-wide supply chain networks, resulting in accelerating inflationary pressures and a constrained labor market. Yikes. And then they think they can try to manage them or whatever. Core inflation to be high single digits, more pronounced impact in the second half. I'm surprised that it's getting even worse, basically, for Campbell's. It's surprising. Let's see. In the back half, even though we do expect, really driven on the back of packaging inflation as it relates to steel. Oh, wow. Okay, like the cans are becoming more expensive. But even with that in mind, we're expecting improvement in the back of half and overall momentum as we exit the year. Okay, so they're trying to be optimistic about their company, but they are having issues because, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. Like all the I thought the cans were tin. Maybe we don't do tin cans anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's like rolled steel now or something like that. What do I know? But that's interesting. We're definitely seeing higher inflation, but also feel good about the traction we're getting. We've got good, strong. Okay, but certainly you're going to see a transitional. This is interesting. But certainly you're going to be in that transitional quarter of pricing coming in with higher inflation, and then as pricing's fully in place, we expect it to stabilize. So in other words, they are going to raise prices somewhat, but they probably can't pass along everything. Okay. Coverage of inflation. Okay, next one. Gosh, lots of inflation talk. We're not expecting marketing to be a source of opportunity to offset inflation at all, right? We feel good about the levels we're at. So in other words, they're not going to like advertise more to try to help them solve with the inflation problem because they don't think that'll work. And follow up on inflation. Let's see, questions. Let's get more. Okay. With an idea that you want to have some pricing, but a little bit of a balanced approach, I'm curious if your thoughts on that have evolved. Basically, can you just raise the price completely? Okay. And I think just perhaps the broad-based nature of the inflation is supporting a little lower than historical levels as it relates to what elasticities are. But, okay. First, definitely. Okay, so this right here, what they're saying here, being encouraged by how things relate to elasticity. So in like simple terms, they're saying we're able to raise prices somewhat and people still buy the product. Like people aren't not buying the product because prices are a little bit higher to some degree, but it doesn't sound like fully. Worth mentioning. This is a very fascinating earnings call because we get so much inflation talk. Maybe with the idea that you want to have some pricing, but a little bit of a balanced approach. I'm just curious if your thoughts have evolved on that. Maybe you've seen elasticity a little bit lower than you expected, essentially. So I'm trying to get a sense. Are you willing to be a little bit more aggressive on pricing? How do they respond? Oh, that was the response. Okay. So I We already read that. Okay, got it. Sorry, the find was a little funny. I'm just trying to do back of the envelope math because it looks like your internal inflation could be as high as 10% in the back half of the year, which would mean your pricing would need to be up 5 or 6%. Yes. Am I in the ballpark? Yes. You're in the right ballpark. Oh, that's cool. See, this Campbell's report literally just gave us the insight that really, if inflation goes up, if we have inflation of $10, companies are really only able to pass along 5 to 6 in price increases, which that would go into consumer inflation. So is another way of saying inflation readings through, let's say, CPI, because of prices going up, are potentially lower than the actual inflation that's happening, to where the difference right here, the difference between these numbers here is basically just loss for the company. Wow. Fascinating. Fascinating report. I'd say a little bit lower as it relates to the full year. Oh, towards the lower side. 5 to 6, a little bit lower. Okay, so probably close to 5. We're probably somewhere in the middle single digits in that area. Again, that's obviously, that incorporates a variety of tools, but that's a good assumption. Okay, my follow-up would imply a volume decline of the same amount. So in other words, if you raise prices by 5%, are you going to sell 5 to 6% less product? There will be a decline. There will be declining food at home consumption as well. Yes. We've looked into it. Okay. We talked a little bit earlier about elasticities and a little bit of growing confidence as it relates to our ability to navigate pricing, perhaps without seeing some of the historical levels that would translate necessarily into 5%. I think you're working a little bit of a couple of different pieces of puzzle. Okay, whatever. All right. So I think this was a very, very fascinating earnings call here, where they're really telling us they can't pass on all the costs to the consumers, and they have to get creative in how they're passing along these costs to consumers. Oh, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before. Is this true? Look at this. Stella, a 10.2 ounce bottle, not 12 ounce. Beers are getting smaller for the same price. Yeah, I mean, they call that shrinkflation. I have not seen that in terms of beer, though. I'm going to look that one up. That makes me curious. Let's type in Stella Beer. I almost wrote Stella Beera. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at this. Whoa. 12-pack of Stellas, no longer 12 ounces, folks. 11.2 ounces. Whoa. Look at that. Even the cans, 11.2 now. What a rip. See, it always used to be the 12 ounce. 12 ounce can, 12 ounce Heineken, 12 ounce Kona Brewing. It's always been 12 ounce, 12 ounce, 12 ounce, 12 ounce. Holy moly. Stella's trying to rip us off. Look at that. 11.2 ounces. They're ripping us off. That's crazy. That's a good one. That was a good shout out. Whoever said that about the Stella. That's very interesting here. So maybe wherever you are, you're seeing the 10.2s or whatever, but this 11.2. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's very interesting. Someone here says Stella has always been like that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. If that's not a change, then whatever. But I always thought it was 12. Maybe they've been ripping us off for a while. Some folks are saying this is happening in burgers as well. It's happening in yogurts as well. All right. Where have I been? I've been right here on this camera. Not in a grocery store. I've been right here. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the after hours here. And just see how things have modified after hours. So let's start with the losers. Bumble down 3.7%. They do it to fit a can with foam perfectly into the Stella glass. Yeah, that's a good excuse. I mean, think about it. If you did like 1 million bottles of Stella, and people thought that they were getting 12 ounces, right? And you did 1 million bottles at 0.8 ounces less, that would be the equivalent of 1 million bottles. Yeah, that would be 800,000 ounces. 800,000 ounces divided by me now being able to put that into other bottles at 11.2. That means I get to make 71,000 more bottles. Divided by a 12 pack, I get to sell almost 6,000 more packs of beer at 1 million ounces. And that's per 1 million ounces. So per 1 million ounces, by shaving off that 0.8%, I get to sell 6,000 more 6-packs. And if a 6-pack of beer has, a 15% profit margin on, I don't know, $18 times 0.15, that's 16,000 bucks. 16,000 bucks of more money per 1 million ounces. It makes sense to me. It's kind of genius. Yeah, Stella FUD. Oh my gosh. Anyway, all right, enough about Stella. Let's talk about Lauren instead. Okay. Now let's see here. Nano Dimension all of a sudden up 6% in the after hours. That's interesting. That's a beaten down one. Hot 8 mining, Enphase. Oh, Enphase goes back to 170. Should have bought the dip. Bumble, Seagate, Carvana, Tattooed Chef. These guys all down in the after hours. Where's our new favorite, Hippo? Oh, how's our hungry Hippo? Hippo. Oh, there it is. Hippo is only down 0.83. That's not bad in the after hours. After what is it, 15.6% up day? I mean, there were some points it was like 27%, which is crazy. That was the time to sell covered calls. I may have sold some covered calls. Okay, I sold some covered calls. But, you sell calls and then you have covered calls. I got to be careful with how I word that. You got to word that correct. All right. Bag of crisps is now a bag of air and 3 crisps. Oh my gosh. Okay. All beers are 330 mils over here. Oh, so maybe it's just a euro thing. Because what is it? Isn't it like 330 divided by, it's like 28 per ounce, right? Maybe it's a conversion thing. 330. What is it? Here, let me just do this. 330 milliliters to ounces. Should be like 11 point something. Oh, it's 11.15. Because it's actually divided by 29.574. Ah, okay, that gets you closer to that 11.2. Maybe that is a euro thing. But anyway, we know that shrinkflation is also happening. It's also sort of a Trojan horse way for companies to pass along more expensive things to you. Kind of messed up. But, oh well. All right. How's our crypto doing, by the way, as well? Crypto. Pretty much the same spot. A little bit of weakness still. Still can't break out. Okay. Any other last minute headlines? Biden. I heard Biden was getting yelled at by people in the neighborhood where he was walking through, surveying this damage. People are yelling at him over Afghanistan. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Now y'all are fighting over how many milliliters are in a can of Coke. Whatever. All right, folks. Check out the programs linked down below on building your wealth. Make sure to also, what am I trying to say? Get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. If you want to price shop that, you can go to metkevin.com/lemonade. But most people are signing up through Ladder. when I pitch both of them, it seems like the people who sign up, they sign up through Ladder. It's kind of interesting. So check it out. If you haven't thought about getting life insurance before, it's super easy to do. It literally took us like 5 minutes. And Lauren and I were like, wow, okay, cool. That was super easy. We both have Ladder Life. We just Apple Pay for it. Apple Pay is so dangerous. It makes it so easy to spend money. Anyway, MacKevin.com/life. Folks, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. Goodbye.